Oh my Lord. This is going to be a fun one, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We're here for another Broncos victory, the third of the season, as the Denver Broncos topple the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles for the first time in, I believe, 19 games. Broncos win 21-17. Finally, they win a game that comes down to the final play of regulation. David, what do you think? And then tell the people what they should check out.
Yeah, well, first off, Zach, Mike, thanks for having me. Love that we're back on doing this. And first off, I hope your pocketbooks are feeling a little bit heavier today, y'all. Shout out to ProfitX. Shout out to them sponsoring David Talks Broncos. Use my promo code Dave. Get yourself a nice little bonus. It is the #1 sports prediction market in America. 40 plus states available, including Texas, Colorado, all of it in the best odds ever. So hopefully you were able to take advantage, as I talk about it every week, and get that plus 205 odds on the Broncos on the money line to take advantage, man. ProfitX, it's the best sports prediction market. Thank you for sponsoring the channel. Get yourself a nice little bonus, $200 in profit cash. Use promo code Dave. Links in the description. I am so pumped, Zach. Mike, I'm so pumped.
Where are you at, Mike?
Man, I predicted a loss today. I'm not going to lie to our fine fans out there, man. I didn't see this coming. Eagles at home. What are they, 10 in a row? I don't know.
Yeah.
11 in a row, 20 in a row. And yeah, never been more happy to be wrong. Super psyched. At a full house of people watching it, and it was loud, it was crazy, and I'm super psyched to be here with two of my favorite guys to talk about it. So let's do it.
It was great. The Eagles, man, this is their first loss since, I'm trying to get their 2024 schedule up right now. First loss since December 22nd, but that was the game where Jalen Hurts got a concussion, left at halftime. First game they have lost with Jalen Hurts completing the whole game since week 4 of last year at Tampa Bay. I know they played at Tampa Bay week 4 of this year. You have to go back to week 4 of last year at Tampa Bay to find their last loss. Their last home loss, to your point, Mike, was September 16th of 2024 against the Falcons, where they lost 22-21. I mean, this is a thrilling win for the Broncos. Not only, impressive opponent on the road, but on a short week too. The Broncos played on Monday night, West Coast team, or not West Coast, but Western team, I should say.
Yeah,
playing on the East Coast. Lots of things going against them, and that leads me to asking you, gentlemen, is this the very best Denver Broncos victory since Super Bowl 50?
All right, so that's a long time. That's a long time, and I'm gonna go maybe crazy and say, yeah, probably. Super Bowl champs in their house. Hurts hasn't thrown an interception in 10 games, much less lost a game. I mean, you can't overstate how big this win is for a young team, a sophomore quarterback. Come on, man. This is huge. Now, if they'd have beaten Buffalo last season, I'd say yes, but they didn't. But they beat the Eagles today. This is the biggest win they've had, at least in 10 years that I can remember. So I would say yes. Even if it's a bold take, I'm sticking with it.
Zach, I want to remind you, man. I know I mentioned it right before the show, but we did a post game last year where we had the chance to beat the defending Super Bowl champions in their house, and we couldn't execute on the last play, man. We finished the job this time, man. That was my big storyline coming into this game, is like, can we show that we have turned the corner, that we can do this, that we can finally do this? Nick Bonino said, we're not scared. Said that leading up to this game, man. This team showed championship poise. And I will say, championship poise for the first time since Super Bowl 50, without a doubt, man. It's not like we got many big-time signature victories since then, man. Like, this, no doubt, is the biggest victory that we've had in 10 years. 14-point comeback on the road to a team that doesn't turn over the football, to a team that never loses anymore. Like, what was the stat? The Broncos as a franchise are like they got one win and like 120 plus losses or something with a 14-point deficit.
It wasn't quite that.
This was a career-defining moment for Bo Nix. He was absolutely booty along with the rest of the team there in the first half. But then, hey, he channeled his inner John Elway, baby, and he was absolute money there in the fourth quarter, showing that championship poise.
They were clutch. They were really clutch down the stretch. And I think that's what defined the game for me. I was, prepping for this post-game show, trying to think like, what is my big takeaway going to be? And it was going to be, against these best teams in the NFL, the Broncos' lack of truly elite talent shows up. It's a deep bomb to Cortland Sutton and he doesn't make the play, and a deep bomb to Trent Sherfield and Bo Nix misses on it, as opposed to a deep bomb to Saquon Barkley and it's a touchdown, or a deep bomb to Devonta Smith and it sets up a touchdown. And it's that, just the gap in terms of playmaking in the biggest moments felt like, especially on the offensive side of things, felt like it was going to be the defining factor of me to this game. And it's not, because the Broncos offense made the defining plays in the biggest moments. And I don't think it's because, they've got better talent than the Eagles. I think this Eagles roster is more talented, but the Broncos were far more clutch. And I think it's remarkable to do that against this opponent in particular, because much like the Chiefs last year were defined by weird voodoo magic, again, the Eagles have not lost a game where Jalen Hurts played all four quarters since September 29th of 2024. We're over 365 days removed from that. And the Broncos just did it in Philadelphia, no less. And a game they had to come back from, where again, the Eagles it's been ugly, but their whole thing has been they find a way to win. Today, the Broncos beat them at that game. And I think that's in part what makes it so cool. I would say this is their best win since Super Bowl 50. I do think there's some solid mentions here from the fans I'll get to really quick before I throw it back to you, Mike. The Bills win with Russell was epic. I agree. I think this one feels a little larger personally, but I think that one would be on the short list to at least compare. Rocks got one that actually I didn't think about at first, but this one might hit closer to me. That first win over the Chiefs in 2023, breaking the 13-14, whatever it was, long game drought, or 14-game long drought to the Chiefs. That one feels up there, but I think this is number one ultimately. Mike, what stood out to you here?
Yeah, what David said about poise, I don't know if I'd go that far. They didn't look very poised this game for three quarters, but David, you turned it around and you went with the Elway take. And I literally tweeted this as I was running out to my studio, that I'm old enough to remember Elway winning games like this, where he and the team would look like complete ass for three quarters, and then somehow, some way, they pull it out, and it's usually on the shoulders of John Elway. And this wasn't necessarily on Bo Nix's shoulders, but in the fourth quarter, he completed 90% of his passes for 126 yards and a touchdown, all three scoring drives. I mean, that's getting it done, man. I don't know. It's hard to argue. It was Elway-esque. So, yeah, huge win. Super excited. And, we can talk about penalties. We can talk about maybe leaving. I think we need to talk about Riley Moss. I have some questions about that. Like, I feel like he wasn't put in the best position out there, Zach. Is that true? Did I read that right?
Okay, there I'm with you. I thought we were about to be raking Riley Moss over the coals, and I think he's been getting an unfair shake from Broncos country. He has allowed some big completions. That one to Devonta Smith. I agree with what you said, and Rocks is hitting the nail on the head here. I think that's on Vance. You put him in that. I mean, it's not a look you should pull out on 3rd and 17. That to me feels like, hey, 3rd and 17, we know this is a drop back pass situation. Maybe if we play really aggressive, tight press coverage, we'll get Jalen Hurts to throw something up and we can get a turnover early in this game and try and steal a win. And as a result, Riley Moss was playing way too far up for 3rd and 17 with no help behind him. and it's a very hard position to win as a corner. I think that was more on the DC than Moss.
I agree.
And then the dots incompletion downfield that was almost a completion. I think that's just a perfect ball thrown in a bucket. I think Riley Moss has generally been pretty good. He's just got an incredibly hard task in front of him. And, I'd say back-to-back weeks, these are the hardest possible matchups he could draw. The Bengals and the Eagles probably have the best 1-2 punch in the league, so should only get easier for Moss from here.
Oh, man. I pray to God, dude. I pray to God. Oh, guys, I still got to talk about some of the positives, man.
Yes, I want
to say this
really quick. I didn't want to step on you in case you had a Riley Moss take. You do not play man on 3rd and 18. Agree with that. Okay, I think we're pretty good on comments. Let me throw this one out to you guys.
Yes.
Why, if you had to boil it down to just first thing that comes to mind, why did the Denver Broncos win this game? How did the Denver Broncos win this game? What was it?
Dude, I'll let one of y'all talk about Bo Nix. Who were we hella worried about coming into this game? 2 of their best players in Philly matched up with our Achilles heel on offense and defense. Jalen Carter against Luke Wattenberg and Alex Singleton on Saquon Barkley. Okay? Saquon had his one play against Alex Singleton. I don't even remember. Well, I was listening to the broadcast muted in the second half because I was trying to stay zen. Okay? But Jalen Carter did not make an impact on this game today, man. Like, he might have collapsed the pocket a little bit, but the dude wasn't getting sacks, anything like that, dude. We neutralized their biggest threats to them ruining our game, man. When it mattered the most, we mitigated their impact, and I'm really happy about that.
Mike, why do you think the Broncos win this game?
Same. It was the defense and Crawshaw. Like MVP of the game, Crawshaw. We were so worried about him. He was clutch the whole game. I'm half joking, but he did have a great game. But really, it was we don't have the weapons that they have, but we managed to contain their weapons, and that was the difference in the game. It's unbelievable. Philly looked like they were just going to start rolling us. Mm-hmm. They were just walking down the field, trotting, matriculating, down the field. And somehow, some way, bend don't break worked, and then we just shut them down. And I still can't believe it. I'm so psyched, but that was the difference in the game. I mean, we had 11 penalties. We had
12. I think we had 12, right?
We have 12.
Yeah,
even worse than I thought. I mean, we didn't do ours. We shot ourselves in the foot plenty. We did all the little Bronco things that we do to break our hearts in the fourth quarter, but our defense was stout. Despite something seemed wrong with Barkley to you guys, or was it just me?
I think that's been him all year. I think that's relative to last year. Yes, I think it's the curse of I'm going to space on the number. I think it's 350. But guys who have 350 touches in a season, the next year they are typically greatly diminished. Derrick Henry is like the one guy who's been immune to that over the last decade. Saquon Barkley, I think it's catching up with him some now.
I would say though, he did have he had like 5 yards of carry today. They just didn't get to him, and that's why I was asking, because he only had like 6 carries for 30 yards or something ridiculous like that.
For 30 yards.
I wonder if AJ Brown got in their head, and I think there were the early runs that weren't super successful. I feel like early on when they were trying it, they were getting bottled up a lot.
They got away from the run too early.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They were on the Sean Payton. That's great.
Yeah, but I mean, it was like I said though, they were kind of like their short pass game, their slants. I mean, there's not much you can do. AJ Brown in a slant with a quarterback like Hurts. Poor, PS2 was getting bagged on. But what the hell is the guy going to do with a 4-yard slant? They catch it and you tackle them. I mean, that's really what those are all about. And that kind of stuff was working. I'm saying so. Maybe that's what it was too. But I mean, that's pretty impressive display of defense there. But Saquon, I'm just curious. If you say he's been like that all year, I know they were having trouble with their running game, but he was averaging 5 yards a carry. Maybe they got away from it too soon. I don't know.
I wonder if they got in their heads there with the AJ Brown.
Yeah, they're not getting enough
I will also
looks or
say
whatever.
their 9 penalties really did put them in 3rd and long and 2nd and long situations, man, to where, yeah,
Well, let's not talk about 3rd and
You know.
17 when they go for 57 yards and oh my God. Like you kind of knew that was coming, right? It was when we had them 3rd and 17 backed up and they do a 57-yard pass and you're like, yeah, okay, here we go. Oh my gosh. It was like 2 games, wasn't it? It was like watching 2 games today for me.
Oh yeah. First half, second half,
Totally.
yeah, totally different, man.
Mhm.
Totally different.
Yeah.
But yeah, Philly had 9 penalties on their end too. That was
Kind of a sloppy game all around,
How-
or
how
over
about that?
officiated.
I agree. I think these last 2 games have been a little over officiated. I haven't agreed with a lot of the calls. I think even some ones that are bad breaks for the Broncos, like the picked up PI penalty, I think that one was very weird. But overall, I think it worked out for the Broncos. I think the sloppiness is something they have to correct. I will say, while we're on the defense, it would be pretty surprising if Nick Benito doesn't finish the day as the NFL's sack leader. He was half a sack, behind the league lead entering this week. He had 4.5, and the league leader had 5. He finishes with 2.5 today. That'll get him up to 7. I don't think Brian Burns or Carl Granderson had 2 today. If someone can let me know on that, that would be great in the comments. But that should put Nick Benito in sole possession of the league lead in terms of sacks. He entered the week leading the league in terms of pressures, top 10 in pass rush win rate, leading the league in pass rush productivity score. He's living up to that contract completely. And, even though the secondary, whether it be Surtain or Jaquan or Riley Moss had a bit of an up and down day, the pass rush led by Nick Benito was absolutely amazing. Zach Allen, I think he had his best game of the young season. People have been saying he's been missing since that contract. He had the sack and a lot of pressures that, won't show up in that basic box score, but he was all over the place today. Thought it was a good game from him. And then Hufanga, up and down mostly for the secondary, but especially in the first half when it felt like the defense was kind of holding on for dear life. Hufanga was making a lot of plays. So while we highlight the defense, or while you guys were highlighting the defense for the reason they won, I want to point out those 3 players in particular.
You said it was 6 sacks? 6 sacks?
7 on the season now.
I mean, it's the team today against Jalen Hurts.
Oh, the team, let me look. I just had it right here. They finished with 4.5. I'm thinking 5.5, so it must be 6, and they're not attributing half a sack to someone right now.
Zach Allen had a half a sack, and I think that's what gets us to 6.
Okay, so it must be 1.5 for Zach. So even better than I initially thought for him. I mean, that contract, I tweeted this out. I haven't said it on the show yet. If Benito keeps this up for the rest of the year, day 1 of that contract, when it hits, he is going to be the best value at any position for a non-rookie contract player. The surplus value, he is playing like a $45 million a year edge. He's getting paid $26 million. Like, for comparison's sake, I tweeted this out. It'd be like if Christian Kirk was playing like the best wide receiver in football right now. It'd be like if Trevor Lawrence is getting paid now. It'd be like if Geno Smith was playing, or Sam Darnold were playing like the best quarterback in football right now. Like, those are where you have to get to try and find comparable post rookie contract values. It's amazing what a showing from Benito early on in the season. Do you guys have anything else you want to say on the defense? Because I'll pivot to my key to victory afterwards.
I just want to throw this out there. I said, hot take predictions, Nick Benito, 19 sacks. If he hits that number or leads the league in sacks, I am buying Respect My Co's on Twitter. I am buying him a Nick Benito jersey. He has to wear it, so it's going to happen.
I love to hear that. I hope it comes through. Right now, he's on. This won't happen.
He's on pace for 20.
He's on pace for 24.
Oh my god.
He's on 23.8, but that would,
that would be the record.
That would be. I'm pretty sure that would
beat Fonz.
Definitely, it'd be the Broncos record. I think it'd be the overall record. I forget what TJ Watt got. Yeah, that would be the record by 1.5 seconds. So he can come down from his pace a bit and still have it. But yeah, the whole agree with D-Bronx here. The entire defensive line was great. Entire defense in general. They did get Singleton some. I cannot wait for Greenlaw to get back, man. This defense, as good as it is right now, will take another step forward once that happens.
Zach Allen had 3 QB hits, a half a sack. I mean, he, like you said, Zach, it's not going to show up in the stats, but I mean, he had a great game, and even though Nick Bonito has the numbers, he was even better than his numbers. He had a massive impact on this game. I know that Jalen was looking in the corner of his eye all night at that pass rush, and he's a hard sack anyway. But I mean, the defense, there's just no doubt. 6 sacks on this guy tonight. That's huge. It's huge.
I'm with you. And Hurts is not a super easy quarterback to sack. I believe he's typically pretty good in those, like up near Bo Nix in those sack avoidance stats. I'm operating off of memory, so maybe I'm totally wrong, but I think he's generally pretty good at avoiding them. I'll go to what my key to the victory was, and it'll kind of transition me over to my next talking point here. Man, Sean Payton and Bo Nix. Bo, not great in the first half. I was not very happy with the man, but he was dealing down the stretch. The throw to Cortland Sutton to convert, the throw to Evan Ingram was critical for the touchdown. That was amazing. And then I thought Sean Payton had some great coaching moments too. The fourth down conversion where he gets Philly to jump with like their own tush push. I thought that was so smart, because it's like this D line more than most are going to be like, oh, I know how to stop this tush. We got to get the jump on it, or they're going to have some idea about defending the tush push. And I just thought that was like such a great call, as David's commenting right here. Not a single tush push for the Eagles. They weren't even in position to really get to trot it out there. I thought that was great. The balls to go for it, to give the Broncos that 18-17 lead, that I think is the defining play of the game. If they don't have that, the Eagles are allowed to kick a field goal on that final possession. And now, granted, I think the Broncos would have played defense on that final possession very differently than they did, but still, they would have been able to send that game to overtime with a field goal. And I got to say, if that game goes to overtime, I think the Eagles probably find a way to pull it out. So I think that 2-point conversion was critical. It changed the stadium. You felt on our I was in the 850 KOA station during the end of this game, and you could hear on our broadcast the life just get sucked out of Lincoln Financial Field the moment that 2-point conversion was successful. I think that was a game-changing play. I thought the play calling all game long was great. It doesn't connect on the Cortland shot downfield or the Sherfield, which should have been an easy touchdown for Sherfield. But those were great calls dialed up by Sean Payton there. And then the last one I want to point out, he didn't get away from the run. I thought going into the second half, I was braced when they went down 17-3. I was like, oh my God, they're going to get away from the run. And it was working. They've been running well with J.K. Dobbins, and they're going to go completely away from it. They're going to put it all on Bo Nix to try and drag him back. And we're going to be having the same, they didn't run the ball enough conversation, and they didn't do it. They let J.K. Dobbins just march their way down the field, 5-yard, 6-yard chunks at a time, drain the life out of that Philly team and make it 17-10. And after that, the offense was right back into it. I was really happy with that in offense. And now that I've gushed over Payton enough, I will say before I throw it to you guys to love up on the offense, Bo Nix, man, that clutch performance. He made the big plays when it mattered, and was it a pretty game overall? That's largely been how you've described Hurts for the last few years, and look where it's gotten the Eagles. Now we're describing Bo that way, so I'll take it.
Yeah, go ahead, David.
I just wanted to say regarding the 2-point decision, was really hoping that we would go for it again. I wanted to see some signs that this team had taken some steps from last season. Of course, we led with the fact that we couldn't execute on that last play against KC at Arrowhead. Now we execute on that last play against Philly in Philly. But also, man, I hated that decision from Sean Payton on the road against Cincinnati last time when the momentum's on your favor to just play for overtime. This is a game where you're not expected to win. And it's a road game against a non-divisional opponent, and this time not even a conference opponent. I loved to see him have the balls of steel to take advantage of that momentum swing, man. It was a gutsy call, but I loved to see him say, you know what, I'm going to show a little bit more belief in this team than I had previously in last season in these situations. This is something I think that can create more momentum throughout the rest of the season, man. Like those kinds of clutch situational calls. I like that call a lot.
Man, I did not like that call. I was shitting my pants. And I was like, well, this is crazy. This is fucking stupid. And when they made it, of course, I was like, we probably just won the game. That probably just won us the game, because all you got to do is do the math. And now it's like field goal, that's probably going to do it.
He pushed the chips all in. He pushed the chips all in on that play.
Let's do it right now. Yeah.
And when you do it, like, hey, that could go bust. They could have lost the game right there. I will say, because I am praising him for it. It did win the game. It was a good coach recognizing his team. Maybe they felt good about just 1 2-point play, and so they wanted to save it for that moment, yada, yada. I have to say, as the numbers dork, as the analytics dork, if you're down 14 and you are thinking of doing that, if you want to play it conservative and just kick extra points, the analytics would say you should be trying 2-point conversions. But if you want to play it conservative, I won't rake anyone over the coals for that. However, if you are going to do the 2-point thing, you should do it on the first touchdown. Because the great thing, if you bomb it on the first touchdown,
you get another shot.
Try again. You can try again on the second touchdown. If you get it on the second touchdown, it's like you kicked the 2 extra points. So the analytical models, what they say, you're down 2 touchdowns, you score, you're now down 8. What should you do? Go for 2. Because if you get it on the next one, you just kick the extra point, you're in the driver's seat. If you miss it, you can erase that mistake. They put it all on the one play, which, again, not ideally what you should do. Maybe there's some reasonable justification for it. Like I said, they only had the 1 2-point play they felt good about, whatever. It worked. And while I will quibble some with the process, it worked. And great job for knowing your team and making it work. Good job on Troy Franklin. We haven't mentioned the receivers or the running backs too much. I really wanted, I'll circle back on Peyton and Bo here in a second, but man, Sutton, I was really mad with him for missing that first opportunity. But after that, he was nails all game long, made some really tough receptions. The one with Quinyon Mitchell between his, getting his arm between Sutton's arms to try and break that up. That was amazing. The like pirouette catch behind him, that was great. Just nails. And then Franklin, some huge plays down the stretch as well. What did you think about that, Mike? What did you think about the weapons for the Broncos today?
Well, everybody on Twitter wants Sutton, traded or cut immediately, and it's just ridiculous. I mean, he's our best receiver. It's not even close. And the first one through his hands is kind of typical of him. Anyways, he's like that boxer that needs to get hit a few times before he wakes up. Sutton's kind of that way too. Like he's prone to do that. So I wasn't too worried about it. I think in my notes, I didn't even put it in bold or put a FU next to it. I just kind of put that he dropped one right through his hands. But yeah, not a big deal. I thought Sean Payton, I know we're going to talk about that, but just to emphasize what you said, Sean Payton was in his, I hate to say, he was in his bag tonight, right? He kind of ran a great game all around. And that Adkins under center fake tush push thing, that's why he's 51-17 in October. I mean, the guy just knows how to win. We're so lucky to have a coach like him. And the use of the weapons, I mean, it's all going to come around. Troy Franklin, even Ingram with 4 catches tonight, a little disappointed in Harvey. But the ball got spread around a lot tonight. And, that's play calling, and that's Bo finding people. So, as far as the weapons go, yeah, we're a really speedy, good-handed catch, passing wide receiver behind, but we always are. So we made do with what we had. I'm happy with the weapons tonight.
Yeah, a couple drops.
I mean, Bo was off. I mean, he wasn't making it easier for these guys, and they weren't making great plays either, but Bo wasn't throwing, very good balls early in the game. But at the end of the day, when you look at what they did, I mean, everybody got involved and kind of came alive. So whatever he said at halftime, say that before the game next time.
Yeah, it was the first 2/3 of this game. It did feel just like, man, they do not have the firepower on offense to get wins consistently, like play-to-play wins consistently against this Eagles defense. And man, they dialed it in. Franklin was great. The drops, some people are bringing up. I do think that is worth mentioning. They were rough today, but overall, a really strong performance. I want to bring us back to Bo Nix and Sean Payton. I know Sean Payton said after week 1, we're not going to have the Bo Nix improvement meter every week. I'm close to making a graphic so we can just have the Bo Nix.
We got to have it
meter every week. But where do we feel, now we're coming off a pretty strong game against the Bengals, up and down today, but how he closed today, I thought was really, really strong. Where are we at with Bo? Because I think these are the biggest arguments right now in Broncos country is like, how hot or cold are you on Bo Nix, and how hot or cold are you on the head coach? I'll start with you this time, David. Where are you at on those two meters?
Dude, I can't be wearing these orange colored glasses and not be, red hot. I know it hasn't looked pretty, but I think this is Bo Nix right now. It's his signature victory, man. Like you called it, Mike, earlier. Over 90% completion in the fourth quarter. He was about as perfect as you could realistically want to see from him. You needed to execute to win this game. 3 scoring drives. And that's what he did on those drives. Now, I don't necessarily agree with you have to look at the first 5 games this year and compare it with the first 5 games of last year. That's just not my thing. I still feel like overall we were seeing a better Bo Nix at the end of last season than what we've seen kind of collectively on average quarter by quarter. But I will say, man, again, I feel like this is the high of highs in terms of not being too big for the moment, having ice in his veins. That's what I want to see with a young quarterback. And I know he's an older young quarterback, but you're still going to have these dips and valleys, and you just want to make sure that he's still hitting those peaks. So credit to Sean Payton, man, for making the halftime adjustments, man. What have we always seen Sean Payton, man, against Jim Harbaugh right now? It's always Harbaugh making the better adjustments than he is. But Nick Sirianni, darn good coach, and I can't believe I'm saying this, man. Sean Payton outcoached a Super Bowl winning coach, man. Usually he's always coming up just a hair short again in a lot of these matchups, but I think he was the better coach today too. And the outside running game, that was one of the things we did to neutralize that interior defensive line. Man, I was scared with some of those pitches, those outside calls, but they executed them well enough. J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey, they held onto the ball. No turnovers today. Yeah, man, I don't see how you can't be excited with this kind of victory, even though it was ugly in the first half.
I'm with you, man. I'd say my meter's just a little bit up with Bo Nix. To come out
half-mast, if you will.
Talk fast?
I said half-mast, if you will.
Well, he played really, really bad for 3.5 quarters. Maybe you can not even 3.5, but 3 quarters for sure. And then to turn that around says something about Bo Nix. It's not just play calling, because I thought Sean Payton was calling a good game kind of the whole day. Yeah. And so for me, it was the Bo just pulled up his pants and said, all right, let's go. We're going to, I guess I'm going to have to win this game. And that's exactly what he did. And that says a lot about his mental, he's got the physical traits, but the mental part of this game is what makes and breaks quarterbacks. That's why you can have so many different types of people play great quarterback. It's what they've got upstairs. He showed that today. His arrow is pointing up for me.
Yeah, I think there's really something to that. Like so many quarterbacks, I think, I think most quarterbacks, even if you're having those rough 3 quarters or 2.5 quarters, and all of a sudden you're in a 14-point hole at a Super Bowl champion team that has a great defense, one of the best defensive play callers in the league who is throwing a lot of stuff at you. I think you've seen a lot of quarterbacks fold up in those moments. I think you've even seen Bo Nix not be his best in those moments and struggle to lead the Broncos down the field. I mean, as we talk about this, it's hard for me, and I'm talking with David right here, it's hard for me to not think of the Buffs, who have so many times this season already been in that moment of like, hey, quarterback, haven't had the best game today, but you have a chance right now with a drive here to win the game for your team. And Bo just, in those moments, not only did he rise to the occasion, he played his best of the entire game in those moments. Oh, we've got we're getting this is great. I feel like a college game day. But just a great
too good of a win.
I'm really happy with it. What was I going to move us to next year? Oh, I had some comments I wanted to touch on. First from D Bronx, he's adding on with Bo here. Bo's lows are just too low right now. He's got to find a way to be more consistent. I do think that's true. I do think sometimes when the offense feels like it's stuck in the mud, it can be like just because Bo's not clicking, like plays are there to be made, but it's not happening. And then D Bronx also asked, what do we think of the Ingram usage? It felt like this was going to be another game where he would be a non-factor up until the fourth quarter, where he obviously came through clutch. Mm-hmm. And I think this is dead on. I think Ingram is more hurt than we are aware of right now. I know he's fully that's the only explanation I can come up with, that, or they were just like pulling the media's leg all summer long, because it wasn't just what they were pushing out of the building with like sound bites or whatever, but any practice we went to as the media, and I went to a good number of them for KOA this year. It was like he was the focal point of maybe even more so than Sutton. I remember like we were trying to draw up bold predictions or whatever entering the season. A lot of, I don't think I ultimately went with it, but I was thinking like Evan Ingram leads the team in receptions. Evan Ingram leads the team in receiving yards, like stuff like that. Because it felt like, yeah, maybe Sutton's still that like downfield explosive, squeezing Mike's head too tight. It was Sutton was still that downfield explosive guy or that red zone weapon. But it seemed like Ingram was going to be a go-to force, kind of in the intermediate part of the field, working between the hashes, medium depth. And it hasn't been that way at all this season, really until the fourth quarter of this game. I think there's got to be injury or some sort of mental hang-up we're not privy to. Something is going on, in my opinion, that we're not aware of. Mike, what did you want to say there?
Yeah, I think you're right. And if you look at what they did tonight, I think that even solidifies your position that something's going on. He looked a little slow. He still looks a little slow. I've seen him look a lot faster, and he looks a little slow. But he was second in targets on the team. So, and he was second in receptions on the team tonight. So it's not like he's the forgotten man here. He was number 2 behind Cortland Sutton. So I would say that's more about what's going on with Evan than it is us not including him, in the game plan or featuring him. Maybe Sean can't because he's limited somehow physically, and maybe we'll find out about that. If it is, I'd like to see them sit him against the Jets in London, but we're getting ahead of ourselves there. But yeah, I would agree. Something's going on there.
All right. We'll close things on a positive note with our stars of the game, because this is a win. I don't want to, leave on a down note. But before we get to that positive, who are your disappointments of this game? We've mainly focused on the good and what went well. And again, best, as I think we all said, best win since Super Bowl 50. It's hard to even focus or bring up the negatives right now. But what is the fly in the ointment for you? What is the turd in the punch bowl as we come away from this exciting win?
It's my guy. It's Alex Singleton. Damn it.
Alex Singleton always says rocks. You guys are a great.
He's going to look so good next to Greenlaw. We're just that's all he's waiting for, man. Just a solid partner next to him. And then honestly, man, And I'm not really joking. Like if I think about just like the overall game, 1,000-foot view, he'd kind of be my whole disappointment. I think everybody else. I'm trying to think of anybody that really like stood out as having a bad game. I just think the team was playing poorly early. It wasn't like one person over and over kept giving up. We can remember games from last year where we had a cornerback that gave up 500 yards of receiving to someone or something like that. It didn't feel like that. But I'd say Singleton, and then maybe a little RJ Harvey, except for I thought he did well on special teams. And I'm not sure if this is just the 20 carries for 80 yards that JK had, but he had 4 carries, and I'd like to see a little bit more out of him, and I'd certainly like to see more than 3 yards a carry. But other than that, I don't really have too many negatives as far as players go.
Mims was going to be my guy, man.
I left
there
him
was
for you.
Maybe like a 30-40 yard like deep crosser, like over route that he extended his arms for a little after. That's something you got to lay out for, dude. Like I did not like the effort there. And like you got to be better in that situation, man. Is this a contract year for Marvin Mims? Like I want to see him elevate in that sort of area right now. No, this is his 3rd year.
Third, yeah. No, is it? No, yeah, you're right. It is 3rd. I'm sorry.
Okay. So yeah, I wanted to see a better effort there, but really, what was frustrating to me was his punt returns today. I just don't. He was going backwards, going backwards a lot. I did not like that, especially in a tough game against Philly. I know you want to break a play, but I think I wouldn't say that he was terrible, but I would say he wasn't great, and he was Marvin Mids, as D Bronx is saying. Man, I want to see better from Marvin Mims.
Yeah, agreed. Especially after that great game he had against the Bengals. He's made some tough catches this year. I've been largely happy with what we saw from it. I thought I was muted. I thought you said you're muted. I was like, no.
Not again. We're going to do a whole show without you being muted. I just know it.
I know. I'm so jumpy about it now. There is a comment. One second. I'll highlight this before I start reading the names. There has to be a Kenny Young we can get. There's a couple things I want to touch on here. One, I think there are options for the Broncos. I don't think they're going to go for it, though, because Singleton is a captain. And I hope I'm wrong here. I will applaud the Broncos coaching staff so thoroughly if they have the guts, the testicular fortitude to bench a captain in Alex Singleton. But I think if you go Sternad and Greenlaw, I think that linebacker group's fine. Sternad will get picked on some, nowhere near to the extent of Singleton. And just look at like their target disparity in coverage this year. It is dramatic. The difference in what is happening when you target Sternad and when you target Singleton. And that's not to say Sternad's a like shutdown coverage linebacker, but he's allowing 10 receiving yards a game, 15 receiving yards a game. And Alex Singleton's allowing like 550 or some ridiculous number. Obviously being hyperbolic, but it is a wide gap there. And I think if Greenlaw returns and stays healthy, yes, that focus would shift to Sternad and they'd go after him instead of Singleton. But there's a reason why when Sternad and Singleton are both on the field, Singleton is the one they're going for. I'm just saying. But there are also veteran options, even if it's not Sternad, in your opinion. I think Jawan Bentley is a name that, especially if you wanted to address the getting pushed around in the run game stuff, I think bringing Jawan Bentley in here would. There was an the early toss play to Barkley. You can see Singleton gets blown off the line 10 yards. And in my head, I was just like, oh, that doesn't happen to Jawan Bentley.
What about Eric Hendricks? I mean, he decided, he's like, I'm not even going to waste time with Baltimore this week.
He might be a little washed, but I'm open to it at this point. Singleton's been so bad, bring the dude in for a tryout. Why not? Hopefully you could get him on board. UCLA guy, that should appeal to George Payton. Mm-hmm. Let me see. Is Zach seeing ghosts out there regarding me muting myself? That's accurate. A name this is a great call from D Bronx. I'll shout out before we move to the next topic. A name I've been floating around is Demario Davis. Saints are apparently about to go into a fire sale. Would make sense for them. And Demario Davis, I think he could be a plug and play veteran.
Yes.
And you know what? I say you pair him with Dre Greenlaw. And I think that actually you would, if again, this is assuming Dre Greenlaw is healthy and you're able to pull off this trade, I think you would very quickly go from one of the worst linebacker groups in the league to one of the better groups. There are not that many great linebacker groups around, and I haven't paid that much attention to the Saints this year. So maybe Davis is totally washed, but last I saw, he was pretty solid. Financials might make it a little tricky. They eat some dead cap unless they designated it post June. I think it looks like it might be a little sticky, but could maybe make it work, give him that 3rd round pick back or something. Okay. Last thing I hit on the rundown. Who are the stars of the game for you guys? Who else do we want to shout out before we get out of here for having a great performance? David, I'll start with you this time.
Dude, I gotta shout out again Cortland Sutton, man. 99 yards. 8 catches on 10 targets, man. He dropped that first one, but man, who cares? That guy, we don't win that game without him. And who is the better receiver today up against very good secondary, man? Was it A.J. Brown or was it Cortland Sutton, man? It was obviously Cortland Sutton, top 5 Bronco wide receiver of all time when his career is all said and done.
Really quick, I will add in, because you mentioned Cortland Sutton on the legacy front. He passed Vance Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
For career receiving in franchise history. I believe that puts him at number 7, number 9, number 7, something like that. Number 8. He passed Vance Johnson. He was 9. He is now 8, and less than 100 yards. He's like 50 some yards away from passing Riley Odoms for 7th place. You figure that very good chance that happens next week. Mike, who are you wanting to shout out here?
Wattenberg for sure was solid. So, but
trying to just get Quixote and Vitanzi.
Trying to get people fired up. You know, Court was mine, but it doesn't matter because for me, J.K. Dobbins was such a close second that I'll go with J.K. Hard fought running. 20 carries. That's appropriate for a running back one. Get him 20 carries, 80 yards. Add in another few for receptions. This is a team that got just about 100 and, well, I can see it right here, 130 total yards in rushing, but 22 of that is Bo. So we got, it was not an easy rushing game for this team, and JK just looks like an NFL running back every week, and I haven't seen that in years. He's my star of the game. Then we are so lucky. What a great pickup for this team.
I love that shout out. I think it's dead on. I mean, he's been awesome, and it's not just that he's getting the production. So much of it is created by him. It's he's getting hit at the line of scrimmage or a yard past line of scrimmage, and he's finding a way, or he's being patient and waiting for the lane to develop and then flooring it through the gap. I think he's been very, very impressive, has elevated this line, has elevated this run game quite a bit. I will also say, to your point, it wasn't like the yards per carry isn't going to be great. Like the yards were hard to come by for the Broncos in this game in terms of rushing success, but we've now seen them run the ball well against a good run defense, and they've not done that this year. The only time they ran the ball well, I think you could argue, was the Bengals game, and maybe the Colts game too. Neither of those run defenses are impressive. Doing it now against this Eagles defense that, they were a little more vulnerable against the run than they were the pass, but by just about every metric I looked at, they were still, top 10, like an EPA per carry allowed and all that stuff. And the Broncos ran on them. It wasn't a thrilling display. It was definitely a step back from last week, but they were able to consistently, like even in the first half when the offense wasn't great, they were regularly setting up 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 4s, 3rd and 5s for Bo. which like, yeah, 3rd and 5 or a 3rd and 6 isn't amazing. You don't want to have a million of those in a game, but especially against a defense like this and a coordinator like Vic Fangio, there is a dramatic difference between 3rd and 5 and 3rd and 10. So I thought, was very pleased. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the right word. I was infused with some confidence seeing what the run game displayed today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, averaging 4.5 yards a carry as a team, and Dobbins was at 4 yards a carry. So, that's the number you got to get. It's not spectacular, but against that defense, and the way Bo was playing, they were keying, and he was still getting it done. So, big props to them, and big props to Sean for sticking with it enough to have, 29 carries total in that game. So good on him.
I wanted to shout out really quick, maybe not for an MVP of the game, but Tyler Bidet. He gets like only a few snaps a game, but he came up, I believe, with one nice blitz pickup, if I remember correctly, and also a 16-yard reception. Again, he's not going to get on the field much, but I feel like every game this year, most games so far this year, he's come up with like one big play on the field when he's rarely on it. But that's just what you want him on the field to do. Just make one play a game, and he's been doing that.
Yeah.
Great call out by you. I'm going to shout out another really quick on running back. I didn't mention it when you brought up RJ Harvey. It was a disappointing step back from Harvey, I thought, and maybe the most glaring example of that was him in pass protection, almost allowing the Bo Nix fumble. I mean, he is a split second away from that being a potentially game altering turnover. The terrible blitz pickup from him. He's got to be better than that, or he's just not going to see the field very much. And as much as this was maybe a step back from him, he brings a lot to this offense. And I don't think you want to find yourself in the position where, like in week 1, where they didn't really trust him to be on the field as a pass catcher because of his rough pass protection. The guy I'll shout out now as an unheralded start today, Jeremy Crawshaw, man.
Yes.
He deserved a lot of worry based on the preseason. He has been awesome all regular season long. I'm trying to pull it up. I thought they'd be better in terms of DVOA. Their punt game isn't great by DVOA, but eye test, he has been awesome. He's doing a great job punting the ball. His net punt average ranks, I'm doing this all live. We'll see.
His numbers aren't going to be that good.
Yeah, the numbers aren't great because they keep just pinning people down.
He keeps pinning them down at the 10-yard line over and over again. That's what he's clutch, man.
But yeah, it's been very valuable for this Broncos team, I think, to be getting what they've gotten from him as a punter. I can't find the comment right now, but Rox was saying, man, they made the right call letting Dixon go. Here it is. We made the right move, not bringing Dixon back. Fully agree there. Who else have we not highlighted yet? I want to make sure I'm not missing. I think that's Nick Benito. I'll shout out again. If he keeps this up, he legitimately might be the defensive player of the year. Gets him up to 7 sacks on the season. Wow, what a showing from him. Really hope he keeps this up. And on to the Jets. I'll give a closing parting thought before I throw it to you guys here. And that's Broncos outlook right now is feeling pretty dang good. Next week they get the Jets in London. This Jets team has looked really flawed. I think Broncos should feel pretty good about that one. Then they get the Giants at home, a very flawed Cowboys team at home, Texans on the road, and then Raiders at home before you get the Chiefs at home too. But that's a nice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that Raiders game at home is a short week Thursday night. I mean, that's a 5-week runway.
Where's the Texans?
In Houston. But and maybe this game was the turnaround. I'm not changing my opinion too much, but like the Ravens defense by just about any metric is worse than the Bengals defense this year. So just like I wanted to see the Broncos offense prove it against the better opponent, I want to see that from the Texans though. that game might be difficult, but otherwise, you look between now and the Chiefs, like the Broncos could, like, even if they lose
Winnable.
that Texans game, what you're looking at, because what, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the 7-3, if they lose that Texans game and take care of business in the rest, could easily be 8-2. This is a great opportunity laying ahead of the Broncos. They have to make sure to take care of business. And not only that, but wait, there's more. The Raiders get shelled by the Colts today, 40-6. That drops them to 1-4. They might be out of the playoff picture. Ravens also dropped to 1-4, getting shelled by the Texans, 44-10. Only 6 teams in NFL history have made the playoffs after a 1-4 start. So if you're the Broncos, I think you feel pretty good about that. And I can't believe that's a decade old. The Los Angeles Chargers are tied at the half with the Washington Commanders right now. So chance for it to be a very, very, very good day for the Broncos. Fellas, Mike, I'll start with you this time. Any parting thoughts?
Yeah, great win. 7 minutes left in the third quarter. The Broncos had 3 points, 6 punts, and 8 penalties. And we won that game against the Super Bowl champs. So this is a great game for the Broncos. This is a confidence builder. And all those, the next 5 games are all winnable games, quote unquote, winnable games. Shout out Will Lutz, Big Nuts Lutz, solid today too. Forgot about him, 100%, kicked a 55-yarder. So yeah, this is just a great day to be a Broncos fan. Super happy. And thanks for having me on. Loved it.
Yes, thank you, Mike.
All right, now I want to see Bo Nix not put up a ton of yards, man, but we won today because he played within himself, played within the offense, didn't try to beat gunslinger Bo Nix. Let's get no turnovers, game manager Bo Nix moving forward here. Let's correct the little things and show that killer instinct against the Jets this week. Hopefully the Greenbrier stay helps them lock in, baby.
Right.
Is that what it's called? The Greenbrier?
I think you're right. Something like that. Middle of nowhere, as John said.
They got to stay locked in, man. I don't want to see this team play down to competition, man. It's now time. They showed that killer instinct on the road. Now let's go in and throttle some teams, man. Let's kill some confidence out of these bad football teams, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just have one more thing. We have been talking about the Broncos finding their identity for a long time. Mm-hmm. And until they find their identity, like this is what people are talking about out there, right? I think their identity is a running football team. That should be their identity. Mm-hmm. And if Sean decides to be a run first kind of team, quote unquote, run first team, then Bo can stay within himself. He doesn't have to shoulder everything. We have the running backs, and I believe we have the running game to do that now. And there's a part of me that thinks Sean Payton would not mind that one bit.
No, I think
so. We're getting close to knowing the identity of this team, and I think it should be run first.
Yeah, I think an offensive identity that feels like the mid-2000s Broncos, where you're a run-first team, you're leaning on your offensive line, and then you're asking your quarterback to not do that much. You're rolling him out a lot, doing the stuff that keeps him comfortable, and hopefully just doing them enough. I think and they've got a defense, I think, much better than those mid-2000s groups. So hopefully it works out. We got a comment from Crushing It with Bro. I thought this was an Eagles podcast for a second, but saying, what a win, y'all. My goodness. I think that'll do it. I'll let you guys do your proper promos, but please, everyone, check out Mic'd Up with Mike Carmelini and David Talks Buffs, David Talks Broncos. Support these guys. Love doing shows with them. Very happy they joined me today. A little behind the scenes, but my schedule was jumping all over the place today, and they were very flexible and helped accommodate all that. So shout out to them. Support these guys. Leave a like on the stream. I should have mentioned that a hell of a lot earlier, but please, leaving a like, commenting, any of that stuff helps all of us out so much. Fellas, David, I'll start with you. Tell the people where they can support more of your great work.
Yeah, David Talks Broncos. That's the big place to find me, and look forward to a video. I think I'll do one tomorrow on how we should trade for Demario Davis, Taysom Hill, and Alvin Kamara. Just all three. Just go ahead and get them. Let's go all in, baby. So you'll find me over there.
Yeah, and I'm Mike Carmelini, Mike_Carmelini on Twitter. You can find me there, and you can find me under Mic'd Up Broncos on YouTube. I've had some family stuff going on. These guys know about that, so not on hold because you can see me here, but it's I'm back home now, and things are getting under control. So we're going to be firing that back up next week. So thanks for having me on, and thanks for letting me promote. Bro.
Absolutely. And be patient. Mike's work is going to come back, and it's the gift that keeps on giving, because not only do you get, exposed to Mike's work through that, but you get to find out about all these other great Broncos accounts. Talk Sports Denver, I was not familiar with at all until I discovered him through Mike's work. Great creator on this platform. So not only will you discover Mike's great channel, you'll discover a bunch more through him. So check that out. And I think that'll do it for us, folks. Until next time, which will be Tuesday night, Altitude Adjustment. Wednesday night, we'll be back with Let's Talk Broncos. Until then, everybody, let's go Broncos.